So I think I've made it pretty obvious at this point on this channel, but I really like Yubel from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I mean, I probably wouldn't have made a 26-minute character breakdown video on this channel a few months ago if I didn't. The primary antagonist of Season 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is absolutely one of the coolest looking, complex, and tragic characters in Yu-Gi-Oh!'s entire Rogues Gallery, but for decades now, they've been relegated to not much more than a gimmick in decks like Fire Kings or Neftis in the actual card game, but with the recent release of some brand new support in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG core set Phantom Nightmare, and even more new cards on the way in the upcoming Legacy of Destruction, everyone's favorite non-binary demon may finally have their chance to shine. Of course, you just know I had to get in on the action, and thanks to a digital reward from a recent online roundtable survey I was part of, I was able to get my hands on no less than 15 packs of Phantom Nightmare. Obviously, I'm hoping to pull any of the new Yubel related support cards, primarily Spirit of Yubel, Samsara D. Lotus, Nightmare Pain, and of course, the brand new fusion monster, Yubel, the Loving Defender Forever. Will my love for Yubel be reciprocated with some powerful pulls? Let's find out. Alright, we are here at the desk. We have my completely out-of-date Seto structure deck playmat ready to go, my two Condemned Dark Lords, and my gold rare Alt-Art Appaloosa. Glad she got finally added to Master Duel, by the way. All here for good luck charm / emotional support. Got my 15 packs of Phantom Nightmare ready to rip. Let's see what we get. Pack number 1. I think the trick to doing this is that it's the 5th card from the front, I want to say, that you move to the back, and that's the rare one that you keep for the big reveal. So we have Ages of Stars and Frost, Geist Grinder Golem, good for the Yubel strat, Materialization, Raid Raptor Glorious Bright, White Reincarnation, Mystic Potato with the butt chin, love it, Jungler Ghoul Illusionist, Earthbound Fusion, and Raid Raptor Bloom Vulture. Okay. Nice. I'll take it. Not bad for a first foil. Not bad. Sleeve this bad boy right now. Pack number 2. Phantasmal Summoning Beast, Master of Ham, Geist Grinder Golem again. Nice, so I got 2 of those now. Procession of the Tea-Jar, Moko Moko. Oh, that's so cute. Look at it. Oh, it's so adorable. E-Stranger Big Bang, Swallow's Cowrie, Goblin's Crazy Beast, Metamorphosis. Ooh, isn't that just like reverse Metamorphosis? Kinda? That art is sick though, not gonna lie. Pack number 3. Also, I just noticed how kind of chipped the fingernail polish on my thumbs in particular is. We're just gonna go ahead and gloss over that. We are simply going to ignore it, and it's gonna be fine. Okay, starting off with a real nice card for the new Yubel stuff, Mature Chronicle, Goblin Biker Grand Stampede, White Aura Porpoise, Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, Radiance of the Voiceless Voice, excuse me, Goblin Freefall Squad, Momentatlan, excuse me, Gothic, Fish Lamp, and Sykes. Is it Sykes? Yeah, I believe so. Sykes Moonlight of the Goatee. Ooh. Alright, so if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 fish monster from your deck to your hand, except this card. Then banish 1 fish from your hand or face up field, okay, for Goatee strats. If this card is banished, you can banish 1 fish monster from your hand, graveyard, or face up field, except this card. Special summon this card. You can only use it. Okay, cool. Nice. Pack number 4. Alright, let's see here. Ashen for Eternity, Xyz Force, Convertible, Vagnawa the Moon-Eating Dragon. I'm so sorry if I said the first part of that name wrong. Moko Moko again. Raid Raptor Roost. Ultimate Offering. Aroma Blend. And, Obsidian the Ashen City. Sweet art. Very nice, very nice. Face up, special summon monsters your opponent controls become pyro during your turn only. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. During the end phase, you can target 1 Obsidian the Ashen City in your graveyard, place it in the bottom of your deck, then draw 1 card. If this card is in the field zone, is destroyed, or banished, you can special summon 1 Ashen monster from your deck. Sick. Hack number 5. Okay, Goblin Biker Grand Stampede, Dark Guardian, throwback to GX, Goblin Biker Boom Mock, Ashen for Eternity, Principug, let's go, Raid Raptor Roost, Tricorn the Cacophonous Concert. Ooh. Honestly, something to maybe add into my Yubel stuff. Possibly. Could be cheeky. White Reincarnation and Aroma Lilith Rosalina. Interesting. Cute art. Quick effect. You can discard this card, and target one Aroma monster you control, gain LP equal to half of its attack. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one non-tuner Aroma monster from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn, except plant monsters, and then it's a hard once per turn. Cool. Hack number 6. We're a third of the way through the field. I have yet to see Nightmare Pain or any sign of Spirit of Yubel or the Yubel Fusion. Hopefully the next 2/3 will yield something in that field. But anyway, Procession of the T-Jar, Ages of Stars and Frost, Geist Grinder Golem, so I now have a playset of that, Materialization, Tricorn Cacophonous Concert, if I can learn to read, White Reincarnation, Mystic Potato, the butt chain got me off guard, Jongler Ghoul Illusionist, and another Sykes Moonland of the Goatee. Hack number 7. Alright, we have Raid Raptor Glorious Bright, Dark Elements, Goblin Biker Boom Mock, Junk Dragonlet, Earthbound Fusion, ooh, Eternal Favorite, let's go, Flock Together, Magmacho Dragon, ooh, look at those muscles, goddamn, ooh, Enigmaster Packbit. Are people playing this in Centurion? I believe? I think I heard that. So it requires one tuner and one non-tuner. Okay, it's level 8. So level 8 generic. If this card is synchro summoned or sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster in your graveyard or one face-up monster your opponent controls. Discard one card, and if you do, place that monster in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. During either player's turn, if this card is a continuous trap, you can special summon one face-up monster card from your spell and trap zone, and you can only use it once per turn. Alright, 7 packs in, and these are hollow so far. No Yubel Fusion, no Spirit of Yubel. I'm not gonna lie, starting to get a little nervous. Pack number 8. Alright, here we go. Time Reloader, Mature Chronicle again, nice. Goblin Biker Grand Stampede, White Aura Porpoise, Mementotaling Godic, Aroma Blend, Mokomoko, Berserk Archfiend, and Nightmare Pain! Let's go! Hell yeah! Finally got one of these. This is actually like a key card to the Yubel strat, really. Because it's basically a reference to the Nightmare Pain effect from the anime and how that worked. I'm so glad I got one of these at least. Pack number 9. Alright, the Moon Eating Dragon, Three-Eyed Ghost, Royal Rhino with Deceitful Dice, Aroma Healing, Raid Raptor Noir Lanius, Emergency Apport, Fish Lamp, Ultimate Offering, and White Sardine. Ooh. Deck to the graveyard, special summon this from your hand. Cannot special summon from the extra deck except water monsters. Once per turn, it would special summon from the graveyard. You could treat it as a tuner. Ooh. Pack number 10. Alright, what's pack number 10 got for me? It's got Master of Ham, Dramatic Snake Eye Chase, White Sunfish, Dark Guardian, Emergency Apport, White Reincarnation, Sorcerer of Sebek, Flock Together, and ooh, Raid Raptor Brave Strix. Nice. Alright, we're getting down to the last 5 packs. And again, we've only gotten one Yubel related holo, and that was the single Nightmare Pain that we pulled. Pack 11. Raid Raptor Glorious Bright, Dark Element, Goblin Biker Boom Mock, Junk Dragonlet, Emergency Apport, Earthbound Fusion, White Reincarnation, Swarm of Centipedes, Psychic Arsenal. Sorry, one Psychic monster you control. Reading, it's hard. One Psychic monster you control and pay LP equal to its level times 200. Add one machine with the same attribute but a higher level from your deck to your hand. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it. Target one each of your banished Psychic and Machine monsters. Place one of them at the bottom of the deck, and if you do, add the other to your hand. Ooh, pack number 12. Alright, another Mature Chronicle, sick. Goblin Biker Grand Stampede, White Aura Porpoise, Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, Goblin Freefall Squad, Momentaling Gothic, Fish Lamp, Emergency Apport, and we got the fusion! Yes! We got the fusion! Yubel, the loving defender forever, if the camera will focus. Oh my god, fucking focus. Yubel, the loving defender forever. I got at least one. Oh my god, I'm so happy. This is so cool. Requires one Yubel monster and at least one effect monster on the field, 1+ specifically. If this card is fusion summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each material used. You can only use this effect if Yubel Loving Defender forever once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack, and if you do, banish it. That is sick. I love this design so much. I mentioned this in my video about Yubel, but I love how it's like more likely than anything that Yubel like altered their appearance to resemble Flame Wingman because they obviously knew it was one of Jaden's favorite cards, which is weird and almost like kind of a full circle moment because somebody pointed out in the comments of that video that if anything, Flame Wingman was probably a card that Jaden was drawn to because it reminded him of Yubel, because Flame Wingman is also a card that is like a fusion of a male and a female monster, albeit a more, perfect one. So it's a weirdly full circle moment for Jaden to be so drawn to Flame Wingman because it reminds him of Yubel, and then Yubel alters their appearance to resemble Flame Wingman. Alright gamers, final 3 packs. We're in the home stretch now, baby. What will the final 3 packs entail? Pack 13. Let's go. Lucky 13. Dark Guardian. Ashen for Eternity. Xyz Force. Convertible. Momental Godic. Aroma Blend. Berserk Archfiend. Goblin Freefall Squad. Walls of the Imperial Tomb. Ooh. This card's name becomes King Sarcophagus. Daniel, reading. While in the field zone. During your main phase, you can add 1 Horus monster from your deck to your hand and place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Only use this effect once per turn. If you activate the effect of Horus the Black Flame Deity, you can draw 1 card. Pack 14. Master of Ham, once again. Dramatic Snake-Eye Chase. White Sunfish. Dark Guardian. White Reincarnation. Sorcerer of Sabak. Flock Together. Swallow's Cowrie. And Terrors of the Afterroot. Ooh, nice. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field, and banish 1 monster your opponent controls. Then, if your opponent has a banished monster, or monsters, return 1 of them to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard except the turn it was sent there, then target 1 level 1 monster in your graveyard, shuffle that monster into your deck, and then set 1 Terrors of the Underroot, Terrors of the Overroot, or Terrors of the Afterroot from your deck. Alright people, final pack. Final pack. Will we get another Yubel fusion? Another copy of Nightmare Pain? Perhaps the spirit of Yubel that's evaded me this entire opening? Alright, final pack contains Dark Element, Goblin Biker Boommock, Junk Dragonlet, Time Reloader, another copy of Eternal Favorite, let's go, Flock Together, Mike Macho Dragon, Radiance of the Voiceless Voice, and... oh, Hero of the Ashen City. Dang it. I mean, it's still a cool card, but, it's not what I was looking for here. Still sweet though, love this art. Alright, so obviously I didn't get absolutely everything I wanted out of this, but the fact that I got at least 1 The Loving Defender Forever and 1 Nightmare Pain out of this, I would say pretty worth, And all these are pretty cool too. If nothing else, maybe I can leverage some of these to maybe trade or sell to maybe get some of the other Yubel stuff that I didn't get here. Sadly, didn't get the QCR, didn't really expect to. Didn't get any Spirit of Yubels either, that's a little more disappointing because I thought that'd be slightly more likely, but hey-ho, what can you do? That's the gamble. But anyway, really appreciate you guys sticking around for this video and indulging me while I do this in the midst of working on an actual video that will be coming out later. So, give it a like if you liked it, subscribe for more, answer the comment question down below, which is simply going to be, if you are a player of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, what card or cards are you hoping to get from Phantom Nightmare? And let me know in the comments below. Take care of yourselves, drink some water, and I'll see you next time, gamers.